Hi, everyone, and welcome to HRM Applications Business 259. My name is Nicole Peters. Welcome to the course and congratulations. If you're not graduating this semester, I know you're very close because this is one of the last classes you take with this degree. So congratulations. I'm very happy for all of you. Let's go ahead and dive right in. I did offer an optional meeting yesterday, but only one student was able to attend, and that's okay. I do realize they're optional and people work and have other obligations. And so what I decided to do was kind of talk to that one student, see what they had questions on, and then I would create a video for everyone later. And so if next time we have an optional meeting and there's only one or two, I'll probably do the same thing, and then I'll create a more, you know, uh, more specific video for all students, and we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. If you haven't already done so, please complete the Getting Started by the 10th of February. I think most of you have started on that, so there are things in there that are due. In addition, please make sure that you go through the course resources, you're reading the syllabus, and you're going through the course schedule. The great thing about this class is that you are all veteran students, certainly do not have to hold any of your hands. You know the drill and you know exactly what you need to be successful. So I'm just going to get out of your way and let you do that. If you do have questions, again, reach out and let me know, but everything you need to be successful should be in Blackboard for you. Now, the course resources, or excuse me, the class schedule, I just want to point to this. This is something that I use specifically to keep myself organized. I have different things in here. It's kind of like the to-do list. And so I created this years ago for myself, and then I thought I would share it with my students if you found it helpful as well. And a lot of my students do find it helpful. So hopefully that is a resource that you use. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how the course is scheduled, or I should say set up. All right, so the purpose of this course, it's really a capstone class. It's to provide you the opportunity to reinforce all the things that you've learned in all the different HR classes and then apply them to what a real HR professional would do if you were sitting at a desk in a business. Now, some of you already have HR jobs, fantastic. So this hopefully reinforces what you already know, and some of you may not, and you want to get into HR. And so I believe that this course is going to help you with the day-to-day. The other courses that we have, it's more of theory and different ideas of how you do things, but this class is what do we do exactly? And so we have different areas. We're going to go ahead and take a look at these different areas. All right, so we have 5 different modules. We start off with human resource operations, basically the day-to-day. Then we move into employment law, recruitment and selection, compensation and benefits, and training and development. All of these modules not only align with Wake Tech's courses, Business 153 is the first one. Employment law is 217, recruitment and selection is 256, right? We move down the list. It not only aligns with Wake Tech's content, but conveniently and not conveniently, this also aligns with the PHR or the APHR. So we have a company out there called HRCI, which is the Human Resource Certificate Institute, and they're the ones that offer the different certifications in HR. So there's an APHR, a PHR, an SPHR. These are things that employees look for in their HR professionals to really, it allows you to set yourself apart and show that your employer that you know what it is that you're talking about when it comes to HR. And so all of this content also happens to align with the HRCI as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our first module, Module 1, Human Resource Operations, aka the day-to-day. We start off with an overview and expectations, and then the different functions you can see. We have that as well that I just mentioned. And then we have the resources and then the assignments. Now, this course does not have a textbook. The great thing about HR is you really don't technically need a textbook. I think it's important for the other classes just to give you an idea to the different definitions and theories and things behind it. But when you are an HR professional in the real world, you're not going to refer to a textbook. What you are going to do, however, is you're going to refer to all the different internet resources out there for you. And there are a plethora. So let's go ahead and take a look at Module 1 resources. So first we start off with some Department of Labor laws, FLSA, immigration, OSHA, workers' comp, FMLA. These are all different things that you should be familiar with. At-will employment. You should remember at-will employment especially from your employment law class, but I think it's covered in other areas as well. SHRM, how to develop an employee handbook, talks a little bit about U.S. citizenship and immigration services, and then I-9 form. Record keeping requirements, then North Carolina employee laws specific to North Carolina, clearing up any confusion about paper records versus electronic files, how to organize HR files. You will need this for your case study. Some U.S. labor statistics, handbook information. There are a lot of different things that you'll need to go over. And so really I set it up so that the first week you can start reviewing these different websites and different resources, and then you'll have a quiz on it and then a discussion board. And then the following week is a more an application-based assignment. So let's go ahead and take a look. And that's how all the modules are set up. So the first week of the module is a quiz and a discussion board, kind of gets your feet wet. And then the second week is when we jump into the case studies. And so the quizzes, they're a little bit set up differently than I have my other quizzes set up. So typically I am not a fan of rote memory. You know that. I usually have things open book and there's no time limits and you can take it a couple times. I'm still all for that. I think that's very important in the other classes. However, this class is a little bit different because there is no textbook. What I want you to do is I want you to look through those different resources that I provided, read through them. It should take you about an hour or two to go through them, jot down anything that seems it's important. The questions are true, false scenario type questions. So there are 5 of them on the quiz. Again, the quiz is the first week and then the case study is the second week. You'll go through that. You have 15 minutes to complete it. So 5 questions, that's 3 minutes per question. That should give you plenty of time to think about the scenario. What I don't want this to be an open book type scenario. I want you to think about if you were in this situation, how would you handle it? And I don't want to put you on the spot and make it tense, but at the other, I also want you to look and process the information and be able to tell me, can we do this in this situation or can we not? And their questions aren't set up to be difficult. If you've gone through the resources in that resource module, and if you read them, you should be able to retain that information. I'm not asking specifics, Article 3.17 says specifically that 20 employees compared to 25 employees. No, I don't ask those types of questions. And so you should be able to answer these questions if you've gone through that resource, not a problem. All right, so we have a discussion board, we have that quiz, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the case studies. So the case study, the first case study that's due on the 20th, talks a little bit about how you're going to set up personnel files. You might recall that in the resources, there's a couple different web links to personnel files, electric versus paper, hint, hint, it's all in there. And so this should take you about 5 hours to complete. I don't think it'll take quite 5 hours. I believe it'll take a couple hours if you've already gone through the resources the previous week. And so again, that first week is for you to go through all the information, do the discussion board and the quiz. And then the second week, if you've done that already and you did a good job the first week, the second week should only take you a couple hours to complete the case study because you've already gone through that information. You already know where to go and to get that information. It's now just a matter of typing up your case study. So there are typically 2 case studies. So this first one talks about those personnel files. The second one, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So now each of the case studies build off of each other. So if you happen to miss one, you can submit them late for a 10% penalty. Everything else can't be turned in late, but you'll read about that in the syllabus. However, it's important to keep up with those case studies because they build off of each other each week. So even if it's late, I'm going to go ahead and tell you to do it anyway. First of all, some credit's better than none, but you might need the information from that previous case study to move forward with the class. And so this is a perfect example of that. So the first case study talked about those personnel files. Now let's move on to the second case study. So you were able to implement the personnel file system. Fantastic. Now the company says that they need an employee handbook because they don't have one. What? How is that possible? Okay, I know it's a scenario. Just go with it. And they want you to lead the project. So this is your chance to show all of your KSAs, knowledge, skills, and abilities, and really show your stuff. So what I'd like for you to do is actually define what an employee handbook is and why. Define its purpose. So this should be a full paragraph and not just a sentence or two. So talk to me about the implications of an employee handbook. Why do you need it? And then the second is to provide an outline or a rough draft that for the employee handbook. So you don't write an employee handbook. Let me make this very clear. Do not write an employee handbook. That'll take you a month to do. I'm not looking for the content, but I'm looking for what is going to be in that employee handbook. And so just do me a favor. Don't just go out there, example of employee handbook, and steal it. I want you to think about, I mean, that's the easy way out. We can do that for all our classes, right? That kind of defeats the purpose of taking this class. If you're just going to go out there and steal it, I mean, I probably won't know, but at the end of the day, I want you to be able to do this so that way when you are in a job of HR and you're asked to do these projects, you can do them without hesitation. I want you to be able to do your job successfully. So what I'd like for you to do is provide an outline of a rough draft of the employee handbook. So there are a lot of examples out there. I want you to just try to use your knowledge of what should be in there, and then briefly explain each item and why it should be included in the outline. And so, for instance, let's say you have a drug policy in there. That's a good example. You have a drug policy in there. All right, briefly explain the drug policy and why you would have it. Are there implications? Are there laws that maybe protect employees' right to a safe work environment? Hint, hint. So take that information and tell me why. So each item should only have a sentence or two after it. Again, you're not creating an employee handbook, but you're just think of it as maybe a table of contents. We'll think about it like that. A table of contents of all the things that should be in there, and then why each thing should be in there. All right. So, I happen to use a drug and alcohol use policy. That's funny. I honestly didn't see that on my screen. I'm kind of just talking. I ramble on sometimes. And so I looked down and I happened to use the drug and alcohol use policy. That is funny. All right. So this would be an example. Obviously, you want to go ahead and put that in there. Drug and alcohol use policy. Employees should report to work fit for duty and not under any influence of drugs and alcohol. And then this policy is important to the safety of all employees within the organization. All right, so the first question should be no shorter than a half page, about a paragraph. And then that second should be at least 2 or 3 full pages. Again, you're not creating a handbook. You're just creating different things that go in there. So this is a great example here of what each thing should look like. If you have any questions, I want you to reach out. I want you to be successful. Here are the assignment requirements. I'll let you go through that. And I think that will wrap it up for today. All right, so to go through and summarize, finish the getting started for me. Go through the syllabus, go through the course schedule. The lessons are here. It's broken down in modules. Every module the first week has some sort of quiz and then a discussion board. And then the second week are the case studies. All the modules are also open for you. So if you want to work ahead, knock yourself out, you're more than welcome to. And then as we progress, you'll also see that we have a research project due later in the semester. I'll talk about the research project next video or next meeting. So if you want to go ahead and get a head start on that, you'll find that information over here to the left. You can look at that, and if you have any questions, you can reach out, but I will certainly address that the next time I have a Teams meeting. All right, thank you so much. I can't wait to have a great semester with you all, and take care and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.